Hey guys, it's me, it's Carson. All right, today I'm doing a pretty unscripted video. Uh, Basically, I just want to talk about like issues I have with like the core design and like community and stuff of Danny's World. I played it for like 6 months. I was really addicted to it for a while, but like after I unlocked all the characters, it just like the game just didn't click anymore. It just like felt pretty boring. I'm going to start by just talking about like the issues with the core gameplay I have. First of all, there's just a general lack of replayability. Most of the challenges in the game are self-imposed. Like there's no reason to get there's no like special unlock or achievement for getting to a high floor. You just get a higher number on your stat page. There's no reason to like do a run where you play a certain challenge character. There's just like because it doesn't even reward you for doing that. The most of the fun you just have to make yourself, and that's just not really good. A fix for that I would suggest, because I'm actually like suggesting potential fixes instead of just complaining. Uh, Fix for that I would just like suggest like achievements and modifiers. So like achievements, you could just add like ones for like beating beating us getting to a certain floor as a certain tune, or like with a certain like trinket combo, and for like doing special things. That'd like add a lot more like replayability and like a lot more fun things to do, where you like instead of just like grinding to get to a new high floor, like unlock a new character, you can like grind to like try winning a new challenge instead of just challenge just being self-imposed and like not getting any reward besides like bragging rights. Modifiers though, that is like a feature that would totally fix this. Basically, you just add like a bunch of modifiers that you can add to your run before you start. Like have like a little page where you can like uh change it or something like that. If you're like maybe like adding run hosts and stuff, kind of like Anchored. But this that I'm just stealing its idea from Anchored. Basically, you can like turn off and on these modifiers that will like make the run way harder if you turn them on. Like you could like turn up the amount of machines or twisteds, and like turn you can like make items more rare, or like just disable healing outright. That'd make it way more like fun to like mess around with those settings and like have more challenging runs. You could even make it like so that if you turn them all on at once, it like goes into like fucking 50/20 use ultimate custom night mode and shit like that. That'd be so much fun. I mean, obviously, don't make it as hard as like Anchored's max mode, because that's just like an almost humanly impossible type difficulty. And I'd rather there not be shit like that in this game. Point number two: the grinding is RNG based. Yeah, that's a really bad thing. Like, I wanted to unlock Sprout like 8 months ago. I wanted to unlock Sprout. So what I did was I just kept playing for 6 months until I found him. I wasn't that good, and that's why it took 7 months when my friend got it in like a little bit by just joining a bunch of pro runs. The issue here is that like I could, if there was like a way to like more consistently find Twisted Sprout, that'd like, or like get Twisted Sprout research, that'd get them way quicker. Or if it was just like only the trinket is locked behind it, you just have to get a lot of Ichor to get Sprout, or like do a specific like achievement like I mentioned earlier. Cause like it just it just drags on a lot. I mean, it does make it more exciting when you see the Twisted, but like you aren't gonna see them that often, and it's gonna take a really long time to unlock all the characters. Even then, the fact that the progression is entirely oh my god. The fact that the progression is entirely tied to like what characters you have unlocked just means some characters are just going to be worse versions of others. If you if you look at the game, there's Brightney, and then if you like compare Brightney and V, Brightney is just objectively worse than V. Why would you ever play Brightney besides unlocking V? unless you like their design or something. There's literally no reason to play them besides unlocking V, and that's like a real issue. In my opinion, like every character should be viable, and like even the starter characters, they should like their ability should be able to stand up to like the mains. We're gonna move on to issues I have with just like the mindset of the developer, like Quell, as a just like how they're designing their game. This is going to be a little bit more heated because I am pretty like I am like really passionate about like game design just in general, and like seeing a beginner developer like make the same mistakes as me is just like fucking it's hard to think about. Well, basically, first off, Quell is just like way too focused on like sticking to the rules she's set up at the start of making the game. Like, if you look at, there's like no tunes that like really are like that out there. There's no like risk. There's no tunes that really like change up the gameplay that much. Besides maybe Razzle and Dazzle, but like that's a bit of a stretch. Their ability isn't that like insane. Like if you see every single tune, every single common has 3 hearts and 15 stars spread across all of their stats. Every single one of them, minus Shrimpo, I guess, but he's an exception. He's a challenge character. And then all the mains have 16 stars and two hearts. And all of them have 1 passive and 1 active, and that's basically it. There's no deviation at all. Like, that's just not good. Locking yourself into like rules like that is just doesn't let you be that creative. Like, especially since like there's no real like depth to the characters. Like, if you look at like Forsaken, for example, I'm using Forsaken as like a good example. It's an amazing Roblox game, but like if you look at Forsaken, basically all the characters have like 3 to 5 abilities, and including multiple passives and multiple actives, and they all like combine together to like make a complete move set. Like if you look at, hold on, let me pull up Guess. All right, so let's take a look at Guest and just analyze how he's designed. Basically, so let's look at Guest. His he has four abilities, 3 of which are actives, and they all lean in together to make him to give him a full like design. I mean like a full move set. So he has plus 15 HP, but he has a block, a charge, and a punch, and the block lets you use the punch. That's basically the way to explain it. Now, that basically all combines together to make it an amazing like guard character that like is difficult to play yet satisfying to use. There's a lot of gameplay depth you can gain from just like picking a role and then designing around that, instead of just like slapping 2 abilities on there to like just have 1 role. I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but anyways. Number 2 on developer mindset, they're just adding too much new content. This game is supposed to be an alpha. They should not be adding this much content. Like, in the past, like, 3 months, there's been 6 tunes. You should not be adding, like, any. You should be, like, at 5 characters right now. Just like, 5, maybe 6 in this stage of development. You shouldn't be adding, like, a character every update. I mean, I know she skipped one last update, but she's going to add a new one this update too. And like 4 characters in one update is also insane. Even if their abilities are pretty unique, they're like, that's just too many characters. Like, what if you want to change one later? Like, then how are you going to balance them around every other character? You can also see this with like how like every like let's take V for example. She's she's supposed to be like one of the best extractors at the cost of her having a really low speed and less than 3 hearts. But like she's not good at at extracting because there's like so many other better extractors that were added after her, like Yada and Flight. Why would you ever play V for extracting? Fuck. Sorry, I keep mixing those up. Why would you ever play V for extracting instead of playing Yada? Like, I mean, I know you can see machines, but like, why would you want to see machines when you can just get to them way faster by using Yada? And Yada has the same stealth too, so like you're not losing that much by just playing Yada, and you get an extra heart too. That's like, it's just not balanced very well. There should just be less characters. I know most, I know like she can't really remove any of the characters now because everyone loves the characters so much. She should have just not added most of them in the first place. Number 3, Quella is just too focused on making this game a horror game. This game literally has never been scary. When has anyone ever actually been scared of this game? I know one person who has, but like that person was like they barely even played it. They just couldn't handle like anything remotely horror. They were extremely jumpy. Besides that, literally like no one has ever been scared of Danny's World. It's not a horror game, it's a roguelike. It's a stealth survival cooperative class-based roguelike, and yes, I memorized that. So like why are there's things that she won't add to like because like they'll like bring down the scariness factor. And I'm doing quotation marks. You can't see it, but I am. My PNG tuber is limiting me. But like there's she just won't add any tunes that can stun the Twisteds or like affect them in any way. I don't know why that's a thing. Like, can't you just like add that? It won't like change the game. It'd be more fun than distracting. Like, if you could just instead of just running around in circles, what if you could just like punch the Twisteds and just like have them stun for a bit? Then instead of then that'd be like 10 times more fun. And I think this goes too with like her not like adding music. Like she could totally hire like a composer to like make some cool stuff for the game like Forsaken has, but like she doesn't want to because it'll like bring down the vibes or something. Like what vibes? There's nothing. There's like no, it just doesn't feel like there's that much besides the characters to like in this game. Alright, so for an example, I'm just going to show this floor with the regular game ambience versus with some like actual like music for like the ambience and some like fucking some like chase music too if I get chased. I'll just edit it in. Yeah, this is just for comparison's sake to like prove a point. That just like the game's vibes would be way better if like there was actual music instead of just like ambience. Yeah. Let me mute now. Anyways, now I'm actually going to talk about the community. I'm not going to bring up some like weird stuff weird people bring up like those weird corny people that like bring up, oh, there's pro shippers, I don't like them, I'm pregnant. I don't like those people. I'm not going to bring up any of that cuz like every community has pro shippers. That is not an issue in Danny's world. I mean, it is an issue that they're there, but like it's not like a big issue that's specifically in Danny's world. I'm actually going to bring up like actual issues. First of all, like a lot of the people I've met in the Danny's world fandom, they're just like violent. They just get violent if you say anything bad about the game. Like literally, I've been called. I know this sounds kind of like childish, but like I was called stupid by like some random person because like I didn't like the gameplay of Danny's world. All right, point number 2 on the community. They're just really mean to new players and people who want to play their own way. I know a lot of people talk about like how they're mean to new players. That's a pretty big issue that a lot of people talk about. But like nobody really talks about how like when you play something that isn't like the meta, like use like just extraction trinkets on Pebble. If you do something like that, people are just gonna bully you for no reason. Like what is the issue? I'm just playing the game the way I want to play it. They just like, I mean, it makes sense for like if you're doing like a pro run, which I'll get to that in a bit, but like I just want to play the game the way I want to. Like, huh? Oh, speaking of pro runs, number 3, they just focus too much on pro runs. Like, everyone wants to do a like long floor 50 plus with like 8 people run. Like, who genuinely like? Why would you play after floor 20? Like floor 20 is like they should have added like an ending at floor 20, so like people don't have to play after that because like it gets really boring after floor 20, especially if there's a distractor. That like I'm just confused mostly on how people like enjoy the game so much that you want to play for like 50 plus floors. I mean, yeah. That's about all I want to talk about. Yeah. Buy OCC on Steam coming eventually. I'm not Teehee Colon 3